Hey guys, thanks for watching. I'm going to be showing you guys how to rig up these larger leaders that we use on the flat fall jigs and some of these knife jigs for the bigger tuna. They have, if you're watching this, you probably know, if you fish for the bigger tuna, you need some abrasion resistance between that jig and your main line. So you can either rig them up with monofilament or fluorocarbon. Today, this video, I'm going to be showing you how to use a monofilament. We're using 250 pound. But I'm going to show you how to do the crimps, how to set them up with the spring for the anti-chafing and the barrel swivels here. The reason we do that, like I said, is because some of these larger tuna, they have teeth, and if they swallow that jig all the way, you're going to want some abrasion resistance to those teeth. Even though the tuna might not be a 200 pound tuna, might be an 80 pound, 90 pounder, but still, if you're fighting it for a while, it can wear through that line and cut it. So you don't want to lose a fish like that. So we'll get started. I'll show you all the products that we're using. I got some 250 pound leader. So on it, it'll tell you the diameter. So that'll let you know what size crimping sleeves you're going to need and what size spring. So it's a 1.47 with the Jinkai sleeves. That's a size G or an H. So these are the ones I'm using. They're a little bit longer. Some people have shorter ones. I like these longer ones. It gives me 3 crimps on them. And then the springs here, 1.6 millimeter. Let's see if we can get that in focus for you. So these are the springs that we're using for the anti-chafing. And then these micro hyper barrel swivels, which are made by Owner. They have a breaking strength of 310 pounds. So they're real small and they don't look like it, but they're pretty dang strong. So this will be the finished product. It'll look like this once it's all done. And then there's a couple different ways you can attach these. You can either crimp them straight on to your jig, like so, or you can attach them with a snap or a split ring like this. This is the method that I've kind of moved towards. It allows me to swap these out in case anything happens to it and the jig's still good and I'm on the boat and I don't have to bring my crimping supplies to put a new leader on a jig. I can just grab my snap ring pliers, or excuse me, split ring pliers, and swap that out pretty quick and seamlessly. So I've already cut a section here. I usually cut them about 3.5, 4 feet long. When you do, it's going to end up with a little bit of a flare on the end here. So I just grab a knife, or blade, whatever, just kind of trim that off just so it goes through the sleeve and the spring a little easier. Make sure you don't cut yourself. So get that dialed in, and then slide your sleeve on first. Shove that through there. And then your spring. All right, like so. And then I put my swivel on. And that swivel gives me a good place to attach it to my main line. You could either, well, for me, I tie it directly to my braid. So I go braid straight to that swivel and then have this leader attached to the jig. So you're going to push through a decent amount there because you want to keep your heat away from this line. And we're going to take a lighter, maybe, there we go. Just get the end to mushroom out a little bit, flatten it, and then pull that tight. Some people like to leave a little bit of a tail. You can if you want. I snug it up, that way everything's nice and clean and streamlined. And then you're going to cinch down till that spring closes in, right like so. Everything's nice and tight. You don't want to pull too hard on that because then that spring will actually start to compress and kind of mushroom out. And you grab a set of crimping pliers. Get the correct range, 1 to 2 mil, because these are 1.6, 1.4. And you don't want to squish it right at the end. You want to leave a little bit of space then push down, squeeze these things together. You don't need to do two hands, you don't need to strangle a thing, just snug enough, like a firm handshake. And I slide it over just a tiny bit, do it again, and then again one more at the end towards the swivel, but again leaving a little bit of a gap. You don't want to crush it right on the end because you're going to pinch that end of the line, and you can create a pinch point where it'll actually cut itself and break. So like I did for the other end, go ahead and trim this off a little bit so it slides through those sleeves. Put a sleeve on and a spring, and I'm only doing the swivel on the one side because that's the side that's going to go to my main line, and this other side is going to go on my split ring. Like, you can either put that split ring on right now in your process, or you can do it later. I do it later. So I'll make up a bunch of these before a trip. That way if other guys on the boat need some, I can give them one, or if I burn through a couple, get a decent bite on something and it chafes it, I have replacements. So again, stand off from the end a little bit there, crimp it down, slide over again, and then the third. And that's it. Now I've got a 250 pound mono leader that I can attach to any jig I want. It's good to have a couple of these on hand. So hope this was informational for you guys. If you got any other questions or comments, leave it in the section below. Thanks.